Hello, this is Amy Hammond with Patient Safety Inc., and I want to thank you for joining me as I take a few moments to preview exciting new changes coming to our SatScreen Oximetry reports in our upcoming software release. The summary page now has a cleaner look. You will still have the same four dashboard indicators providing you a quick snapshot of the patient's respiratory status during sleep. You will, however, notice that we reorganized elements of the header and moved definitions previously noted in each section of the report down to the bottom of the page. Also, we have removed several parameters that users reported as repetitive or not adding clinical value in order to allow you to focus more on the data that matters. The second page includes the most significant changes you will find in this release. First, we removed the example of detected cycling and replaced it with important pulse rate and risk factor data. In the pulse rate data section, you will see reporting on autonomic arousals, pulse rate ranges, and sleep-related tachy and bradycardia. The autonomic arousal index is the average number of autonomic events per hour, and autonomic events are abrupt, substantial increases in heart rate that can be related to or lead to sleep fragmentation. Take into consideration that cardiovascular diseases and certain medications may block or reduce the heart rate's responsiveness to physiological stressors when looking at this autonomic and pulse rate information. Next, we have added risk of important adverse events using evidence-based risk ranges. The top right section looks at three markers indicating increased risk of postoperative adverse events. One or more markers exceeding the referenced range indicates risk if the valid recording time is greater than 4 hours. And for our hospital providers, we have also included a risk factor reference for rehospitalization after admission for acute heart failure. In this example, the cumulative time SpO2 is below 90% and mean SpO2 both indicate that the patient is at risk for postoperative adverse events if he or she were to undergo a procedure. And secondly, here we see the result indicates that the patient is at risk for rehospitalization if he or she was previously admitted for acute decompensating heart failure. For more information on these risk ranges, see the references at the bottom of page 2. And finally, if you look to the bottom of page 2, you will see the final updates in this release. You will notice that the two previous SpO2 graphs have been consolidated into a single graph, and a new pulse rate range graph has been added. The graph on the lower left reports the percent of the night spent in a given SpO2 range, as well as the number of desaturation events falling into a given SpO2 range. In this example, the patient's SpO2 levels were between 80 to 90% for 67% of the night. Whereas here we see 33% of the desaturations dipped into the 80 to 90% SpO2 range. Next, the graph on the right reports pulse data, with the percent of the total time the pulse was in a given pulse range depicted in green, and the number of autonomic events peaking in a given pulse rate range depicted in blue. In this example, we see that the patient's pulse rate was greater than 90 beats per minute for 8% of the night. And here we see 35 autonomic events had a peak value in the 80 to 89 beat per minute range. And this concludes the preview of the report changes you can expect in this week's release. At Patient Safety, we are dedicated to your success. We hope that you found this quick preview helpful, and we look forward to continuing to bring you updates and new value-added features over the course of this year. If you have questions, comments, or feedback, please email us at support@patientsafetyinc.com. And thank you.